وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, I would like to start by asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by His beautiful names and perfect attributes to accept the souls of the people that were murdered and slaughtered in New Zealand by a terrorist. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us peace and to grant every community without regards to their nationality or faith peace. I know that very often we want to show how polite we are, which we are, and very often we have the urge to show people that we are not angry, that we are not frightened, and that the only thing which lives in the depths of our hearts is forgiveness. Forgiving is a good thing, but we live in a time now where one has to stand up for his or her rights within a framework, within the rule of law, but where one should stand up for his or her rights. And if we just say, we're forgiving, look, come here, I will give you a hug. I'm not talking about the man who said, hello brother, okay? In no case, I mean now, after everything happened, then this would be in a certain way wrong, because we would start normalizing doing things to Muslims. And exactly as it shouldn't happen to the Jewish community, it shouldn't happen to the Christian community, nor to the Muslim community. And now it is not a time where Muslims are to be asked questions, it's a time where Muslims have to ask questions. And questions about their security, questions about their future, questions about protection. When the synagogue in Belgium was attacked, and that was a horrifying act, which we do not at all agree with, we're against it, then the Jewish community, rightly so, demanded from the government to be protected by soldiers. And they were already for 2 years now. Even though that there might not be a direct threat, no, do we say threat or thread? Threat, okay. A direct threat to the community right now, but nevertheless, they are protecting the synagogues. So now we can demand exactly the same thing, because there is such a thing as anti-Semitism, but there is also a thing as anti-Muslims, as Islamophobia, which has not been recognized everywhere in the world yet as to being something which exists. So now I don't think we are in a position where we should say, look at how forgiving we are. No, we want our rights and we want to be protected. So I think by trying to humanize people without regards to their religion, after these kind of atrocities like murdering, slandering, shooting, like someone was in a video game, that's what it looked like. A person brainwashed through playing video games. And then to say he was a little, small, blonde boy with blue eyes, loved by his grandmother, and nobody knows what happened to him. The shooter came in and started shooting. So even the choice of words are not very strong today. I even saw it at the news in Belgium. Usually there is breaking news, everything, all the programs stop and are interrupted. This didn't happen this time. The Muslims in Belgium asked for protection. They didn't get extra protection. In Antwerp, for example, and so forth. So this is not a political debate, but it's a religious debate. Because it has to do with the safeguarding of our community, and that's religious. So we need to talk, those, of course, who are eloquent and who have a position and a status or a position where someone is listened to, they need to and have to talk with people in power. Now to see what can we do, how can we protect Muslims, and how can we stop normalizing what people say about Muslims. Sometimes you have comments that people say in public statements about Muslims. They should all die, they're like rats, you should get them out of your house before they tear your house apart. If a Muslim were to say this, which he shouldn't, about anybody else, he would immediately be considered to be violent, radical, and maybe a terrorist, and so forth. So we want exactly the same standards for everybody. Because we are not going to judge a thing by who has done it, but by what has been done. What is the deed? That's the only thing which matters. Not the person, not his or her nationality, background, ethnicity. The only thing that we look at is the deed. Because a person needs to be judged by the deed he does, and not by to which country or nation or religion he adheres to or belongs to. Is that clear? So I know you know all of this, so I'm just talking out loud. Maybe it's my frustration that I'm trying to share with you. But on the other hand, I was also very happy. In Kingston Mosque, we had non-Muslim neighbors coming up to the mosque, and they were putting flowers during the night in front of the door, saying, "We are in pain." I even received today a letter of more than one rabbi saying that they were grieving together with us. They were even, sending letters to one another saying that they had to hold a prayer in their synagogues. I'm not saying each synagogue, but a lot of them. But very often they do things behind the screens. So I saw these letters with my own eyes, and they said our condolences, we live with you, we are in pain together with you. So we saw a lot of good things happening, like in Australia, Surfer Paradise, where all these people started doing this crazy dance to honor the dead Muslims. But they did it. You see, everybody in his own way. So, in brief, that's all I want to say about this. I'm not going to start a political debate. I'm not a politician, and I wouldn't be a good one. So, alhamdulillah. So, inshallah, I think that the most important thing now is pray. Praying and strategically thinking about what one can do within the framework of the law to stop these kind of things of terrorism, anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim Islamophobia, and so forth and so forth. Okay.